speaker tonight. She is the #1 region in Leah Sophia. Quite a tight ship. So we're going to have Jody Sullins come up, and she's going to talk to us about how you book and type, the kind of verbiage you use. You know, you're familiar with cancellations, and maybe how to keep shows holding, and how to get us through the holidays and start January off strong. Because remember, January is going to set the tone for the year. So listen to what Jody has to say. So come on up, Jody. Jody, do you want a chair today?
Hi everybody. Really quickly, while Mary's getting a chair, I'll just share with you my journey with Leah Sophia really quickly here. I started with Leah Sophia almost 13 years ago. I was an at-home mom. Is that okay if I sit?
Yeah.
Okay. I was an at-home mom. My husband and I are from Illinois, and yeah, that's where Mary's from. And I did daycare.
This is West Chicago, by the way.
Northwest Chicago, actually. So I was doing daycare to help make extra money. We had always had a priority in our life and marriage that when we had kids, I wanted to be home with them. And so, you know, did we sacrifice? We absolutely did, because it's hard. It's hard. It was hard back then when we started having kids to make it on one income, but we were determined to do that. So we did go without a lot. So I always did a lot of different jobs. I've always been, I think, kind of an entrepreneur, if you will. I did daycare off and on, and that's kind of being an entrepreneur, I think. It's your own business, you know, you got to run your own ship. But then I got tired of that, and I started a baking business out of my home. For 10 years, I did that. I was called, around town, I was called the Muffin Lady. Every Friday morning, I would go around to about 60 different businesses. I established a route, and I had a huge, huge basket, a big basket that had a handle around it, and it wasn't very deep, and so they could kind of see in there, and I'd always have about probably 4 or 5 different kinds of jumbo-sized muffins. I'd have cinnamon rolls, pecan rolls, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I would go around to these 60 businesses, and everything was $1. Everything was individually wrapped. Anyway, I did that for 10 years. And, you know, I probably made maybe 150 bucks every Friday, but that was gold to us. You know, we needed that money for just whatever. After 10 years, I got tired of it, went back to daycare, and met a new friend at church, and she had a really cool piece of jewelry on. And I love jewelry. I've always loved jewelry. Even as a little girl, I loved jewelry. So I asked her about it, and she said, oh, it's from Leah Sophia. And back then, it was Lady Remington Jewelry. And so she sent me a letter asking me if I'd be willing to host a show for her. And I'm one of these party people. I love to do home parties. So I said, sure. I've never done a jewelry party. So I had the party, not really knowing what to expect, and I was very pleasantly surprised with the jewelry. I thought it was very stylish, very up to date, kind of on trend, great guarantee. And so we closed up my show. My girlfriends loved it, and the gal got bookings. We closed up my show, and it was after the fact that I just thought, that was really fun. I got my jewelry in and just thought, wow, look at what you get for hosting a show. The wheels started turning, and I'd never, ever been interested in any type of direct sales. In fact, I was kind of like, stay away from me, because I'd had some bad experiences with direct sale, to be honest with you. Pushy, I won't say anything about the pink company, but pushy. I felt like we had been used several times because of friends of ours that were in direct sales. So I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want my friends and family to run from me every time they saw me coming, and you know, and they'd say, I don't want to do a show for you. So, but jewelry thing, I thought, this is different. You don't have to really pitch anything. You don't have to sell anything. Women love jewelry. It's kind of like shoes and purses. You don't have to convince them that they have to buy this. You know, you don't have to be educated like a skincare product or, you know, juices or whatever. Not that those are bad. I'm not saying that, but it just wasn't for me. So I researched Leah Sophia. And I just thought, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to jump in with both feet. I want to make sure this company is reputable. So I called everywhere I could. I called the Better Business Bureau of Illinois. I called probably the local Chamber of Commerce in Bensonville, where they were located, kind of did a research on the family. And then just everywhere, every turn, I found just really good information or good comments and positive feedback about this company. So I thought, all right, I'm going to do this. And I was told you have to light up 5 shows to get started. And so, and this is, who asked the question about what do I do if I'm kind of dead in the water? Somebody back here asked that. Oh, she's gone. Okay. Well, anyway, what I did and what I recommend to anybody that's either A, starting, or B, has run out of bookings, this is what I did when I got started. So I didn't just sit down and try to think of 5 people that I thought would say yes. What I did is basically went through my Frank list, You know what Frank is? F-R-A-N-K. Okay, friends. Okay, your obvious friends, your relatives. A is acquaintances, and that was probably the bulk of my list was acquaintances. Think about who your acquaintances are. I think Mary mentioned it, or maybe you didn't. But like your at the doctor's office, the gals that you're friendly with, that you see at the bank, that you see every week. Somebody who's ever cut your hair, or done your nails, or done your toes. Maybe, yeah, the grocery store. Yeah, people that you don't really consider friends, but they're a friendly face. They would smile because they know you. Okay. You know, think back to if you have kids as they've grown up. Who are their parents? That again, they're not friends of yours, but they're acquaintances. Man, I'm going to tell you, I listed every single woman that I'd ever met in my 10 years living in this community in Illinois. And a lot of them I hadn't seen for probably 10 years. People gals that had closed our bank loans. We go through houses like you guys probably go through, I don't know, reading books. We are every few years we're moving. And you know, we just get itchy. We're like, oh, we need to live on another side of town. Oh, we need to build a house. So I've been through a lot of bank or mortgage companies. So I called all those girls. And again, you know, not friends, but acquaintances. So don't be afraid to reach out to those acquaintances, even if it's been a really long time since your paths have crossed. Because I'm going to tell you something, and most of you that have been in this business a while probably know this, a lot of times you can't count on your friends and family. They're the ones that will say to you, I am not doing a jewelry party. That's not my thing. They're the ones that feel very confident, bold, and say no to you. Move beyond them, okay? And really, so I sat and made up my list, and it was probably, I wish I would have kept it to this day as proof, but I probably had 80, 60, 70, 80 names on that list.
Sean says 90.
90.
He says 90, okay. And so when and I know one of the problems today is it's like, oh crap, I don't know their phone number, you know, because back then I could just go to the you know, local phone book and everybody's names were in there, and that's kind of a little different nowadays, so it might take you a little bit longer. The Rolodex, yeah. So I wrote in everybody's telephone number and I started at the top. And you know what they say, what's the worst thing that's going to happen?
They say no.
They'll say no, and so what? So what if they say no? You let it roll off and you go on to the next person. And so I did that, and when I got my first 5 yeses, did I stop? Absolutely not. I still had a lot more names to go. Why would I stop? If I'm going to do this business, I want as many bookings as I can get. So I continued on. And I went through that entire list and ended up with 11 yeses. So out of 90, 11 yeses. And that's about our odds. For every 10 calls you make, you might get 1 yes, okay? And so my first month in the business, I think I booked them all within a month. And I was taught very early to book in tight. Don't let someone say to you, if you're asking them in November, I could probably do one this spring. I would say no to that. Absolutely not. You know, you need to book in tight in this type of a business. So I did, and I feel like that honestly really helped to propel me in this business because I started off with 11 shows. So long story short, I got going and I just fell in love with the business, you know, just loved what I was doing, and it clicked with me. I always say it was just a good fit for my life where I was at, my personality. My husband was very, very supportive of it. And probably my 3rd month into Leah Sophia, I looked at the money that I was making. And back then, our show average, you guys, was about $300, $300 to $350. I remember being thrilled if I made $100. If I made $100 going home from a show, I was excited about that because, you know, doing that about 3 nights a week, I realized very quickly I was making more money doing this than I was daycare. And so what's that? Selling muffins, that's right. So I started in the month of June. And by January, I gave notice to my families that I was going to be quitting daycare and really putting all my efforts into this. So I did quit doing daycare. I went to, again, I started in the month of June, and my upline asked me to go to conference. Our conference is always in June. And I'm like, you know what, we just don't have the money. It was about what it is now. It was like $180, and that was money we didn't have at all. And she asked me again a few weeks later, and I'm just like, oh, you know, it's just money. I've just started this business, and so my husband and I talked about it, and we finally decided, because we lived not far from Chicago, and that's where it was, really the only expenses that I wanted him to go with me was the 2 tickets and, you know, the gas in and the hotel room. So we thought, well, it'll be a fun weekend away, put it on the charge card. So we did. Best investment I ever made in this business. Amen. And because it completely turned what I perceived this business to be. Again, it was for a hobby. It was because I love jewelry, and a lot of it wasn't even so much the money because I was doing daycare. So anyway, I know this is taking a long time, but Anyway, it's my story and I'm sticking to it. So conference, I just saw what we call the big picture. I saw it, you know. You kind of have in your head, I did anyway, what I thought maybe the typical successful Leah Sophia person probably looked like, and it wasn't at all what I thought. Not at all. I thought to myself, if she can do it, oh my gosh. You know, and Andrea, in fact, I think she said it at Rally in the Valley. She talked about, right, Carol Kuhn?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I would have said her name, but I mean, she's the,
They don't know Carol Kuhn.
yeah, and don't ever repeat what I'm going to say to you, but she's the driest piece of toast I've ever met.
And her husband, oh,
Her
they both have
husband.
curves.
They
yeah.
both have curly hair, and I remember seeing her walk the stage for some huge award, and I just thought, Lord have mercy, really? You know, she's just a very flat-lined, you know, which, whatever, and I've learned it takes all personalities, right? So anyway, I went home totally motivated. They kicked off a trip. It was a Caribbean cruise. Never had we done anything like that. Never, ever, ever. We couldn't afford to do something like that. And so I just thought, oh, I want to earn that trip. And what you had to do back then, our trips were, you had to recruit. Now you have the option. You can earn a trip based on your own personal sales and or recruiting. But back then, you had to recruit. So I thought, okay, all right, I get the bug. I went home and made that list again and started calling, and got like 3 girls right away. And back then, to be a unit leader, you had to have 3 girls. So within just a few months, I promoted. Anyway, I earned that trip. That was my goal. I had that, you know, in front of me that I was going to earn that. And every show, I'd come home and mark off just a little bit more in dollars. And when I got my recruits and whatever they were doing, I kept track of their dollar amount. And I earned that trip on the Caribbean cruise. And people ask me today, because you know, 13 years into this, I've been on a lot of trips. We've been on a lot of trips, and they always ask, "What was your favorite? What's been your favorite, best trip?" And I have to go back to that Caribbean cruise because I think it meant so much. I worked so hard for it, and it meant so much. And so it was just fun getting to know, like Andrea, our upline. She's such a hoot. She's such a hoot. We just had such a good time with her. So anyway. The rest is really, as they say, history. I just kept going. I saw the vision. It became a passion to recruit, and I hate that word, but to share the opportunity. It just became a passion because I saw what it did in our family. The income just continued to grow as I continued to share this opportunity and pay it forward, if you will. And so I've not lost that passion today because I've seen this change. Oh my gosh, so many lives. Not just my team, but like Mary's team. You know, Andrea's team. You know, as you get into this and get to know a lot of girls, you see and you hear what it's done for their family. My husband was able to stay home just like Dave. After about 5 years into Leah Sophia, our income was way past what he was making, and so he got to stay home and quit his job. So how phenomenal is that? You know, we have a great partnership. Like Dave, he is very, very involved in my business, very involved. He goes with me to every show. You know, he calls it carting around Miss Daisy, is what he says. So anyway, so he's a very much an essential part of this business. So anyway, that's my story. I've been a region leader for since 2006, so too long. I'm ready to go to zone. So
We're ready for you to go to zone.
yeah. So anyway,
Yes.
so there you go.
Okay, excellent story. That was
Anytime
awesome.
soon you go into zone?
No, I'm halfway there. You know, I've got one region I need
Kaisa.
two. So
Or Kaisa.
Kaisa, yeah, Kaisa's one of my
Kaisa.
regions.
Who actually recruited you, Jody?
Well, you know, this is one of those situations where her name was Marie.
That's a story.
That's a story.
I'm sorry, I just wondered. I
No,
never
it's
knew.
okay. You know, it's unfortunately, she actually, this gal recruited myself, and most of you probably don't know Maggie Bottom, but she's another region leader. And then Kim Schneider, who is a pretty strong division leader. She had 3 really strong leaders, but she just couldn't keep up. She just, she didn't keep up her personal business. And in this type of a business, you can't recruit and build up your team. You really can't you can't sit back and go, I can relax now. You really can't. You've got to keep up. You want to be a leader that leads by example. You want to be out there doing shows. How am I going to tell you guys what to do if I'm not out doing shows, right?
Walk the walk, talk the talk.
Exactly. You know, do I need to do shows? I really don't. But do I want to? Absolutely. Because I want to be that leader that leads by example, that walks the walk, talks the talk. So anyway, Marie she recruited me, but she ended up falling off because she couldn't keep pace with the other girls. So you just never know who
She's
you
not
could be.
doing it at all?
No. No. Nope.
Oh, God.
No. So anyway.
Thanks.
Okay,
Sorry.
so we know how long you've been with Leah Sophia now, and we know how you got started. Now at your show, I know when I came to see you when you first moved out here, you said you've been playing the same booking game forever.
I have played the same
So
booking
what game do you play?
for 13 years. So I pay, you might call it Deal or No Deal. I've always called it Free or Me, but it's basically, when I started off playing it, I found these really, really cute little, there were boxes in the shape of a star, okay, so they had a bottom and they had a lid, shape of a star, and they were gold, really pretty gold. And I had 12 of those on a tray, and I put a retired piece of jewelry in those little stars, and basically it was the Free or Me, you know. If you open your star, you know, you're taking a chance. It's either gonna say you want a free gift, or it's gonna say you want a free gift and a booking. So I still use that today. I did change to those little mini purses probably about, I'm gonna say maybe 10 years ago. We were at a little store in Iowa, a little purse store. It's called Personality. It's all knockoff purses. And they had the little baby mini purses there. And Don picked one up, and he goes, Jody, these would be so cute. Instead of your little star boxes, these would be so cute to put your piece of jewelry in. I'm like, oh, women love purses, right? So I kind of worked out a deal with the owner, got like 12 of them, started doing them, and I'm going to tell you now, probably 3/4 of Leah Sophia uses these little baby mini purses. So they just, women go gaga over them. They love these little purses. So to me it works. You have to fine tune your verbiage. I think that's very important. You have to make sure that they completely understand that this is, you know, I hate to call it a game, but it really is. It's a tool, let's just say. But your verbiage needs to be such that they know that they are taking a chance of winning a party if they open that purse. Because one of the things that I do hear back is, I'm not using that anymore because people cheat. You know, I will tell you that when I do it, I never get a cheater. So I have to believe it's just my verbiage and what I say about it. So you need to be really careful what you say and that you're explaining it really well. And I kind of joke as I'm telling it, but then they know I'm serious too. I'll say, so again, girls, you know, and I always say, you can say anything with a smile on your face and get away with it. You really can. So girls, again, I hope none of you are cheaters tonight, okay? Don't peek in the purse unless you plan on you know, you're taking a chance of winning a party. So if you guys don't want to win a party, you probably better not open your purse, okay? And then if they haven't opened their purse by the time you know, sometimes, you know, there's the crickets, you know, everybody's kind of sitting there looking around, and I'm okay with that. You have to be really comfortable with silence. You just do. You kind of state, you can tell. I mean, if you sit in your shows and you kind of watch the body language, you can tell. You know, if they do this, I'm going to grab a little purse here. If they're sitting there and they, you know right away, if someone's sitting there with the purse and they go, no thank you, I'm busy, I'm busy, then you know they're out. But then there's some that sit there and they kind of go, would you come to my party? Yeah. And you need to say that. You need to zero in on them.
Where's your house?
Yeah, or she'll go, gosh, my house is really small. Listen, you have to pay attention. You have to watch their body language. But there's sometimes, I can tell they're sitting there holding it, not like putting it down on the couch, but they just don't want to open it yet. So I will, you know, give a few minutes, say, anybody going to open their purse? Kind of looking around the room, watching the body language. And if I can tell there might be some that are sitting there kind of fidgeting with it, they just for whatever reason don't want to open it just now, I'll say, okay girls, well, you know what, I'm going to go over there and set up and get ready to take orders. If you haven't opened your purse yet, that's okay. Maybe you need it for a few minutes. Maybe you need to bond with your purse a little bit. That's okay. But girls, again, no opening your purse and do a sneak peek, okay? Because you don't know that I might have a Leah Sophia policewoman in here. You know, that kind of puts the little devil on their shoulders, right? So kind of leave the room saying that, and they're not going to want to cheat. So anyway, I've used it, you guys, and for me it works 90% of the time.
Love it.
Plus, I might add, you ask everyone when they check out as well.
Yeah, and then I ask everybody when they come check out, even if I know they were like, when they check out, I'll say, you know, Debbie needs 2 bookings tonight. She hasn't gotten any yet, or she needs 1 more. Are you sure? Would you love to have a party with me? I ask everybody at checkout, because you never know. Because I've had those, not very often, but I've had those that will say, really, she hasn't got any bookings yet. You know, I was thinking about it, but, and then you hear her, but. Then you need to come back, you know, with, if their place is too small, let's go to a restaurant. I've done that before. I've done parties in restaurants, or they'll say, you know, I just don't have any friends. Really, like if you got married tomorrow, you don't have anybody to invite, you know, throw that. Or if you were to die tomorrow, nobody would come. So there's always objections to what they say. Just kind of keep it light and humorous.
Okay, but she brought up 2 really good things. Number one, you have to have a booking game. You have to, and you can play more than one game at a time, just so you know.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Number two, even if they don't play your booking game at the time of your booking game, always ask them again when they check out. Okay, so those are two very important things we just learned right there. Okay, and you're one at booking in tight.
Yes.
And it's very important about booking in tight. Because we know if they're booking further out, first of all, it's not doing anything for our hostess. Second of all, they're going to forget about you. You know, because our hostesses are way up here on our priority list. We're down there.
That's right.
With them. So
That's
we
right.
want them to book in tight, keep them excited. So do you use any kind of incentives, or what's your verbiage for booking in tight, Jody?
So I do, when I go to a show, and you guys, probably anything I'm going to say today, you've heard it before, as those of you that have been with Lisa a
Oh,
while.
wait, yeah, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Speaking of, you've been to trainings, you've heard other things, and I talk about this like at coffee conversations. So you guys know what a coffee conversation is. Yay! So when I'm meeting with somebody who's interested in the business, I tell them they're going to go to all these trainings, you're going to get lots of great information, and you're going to walk out with these girls who are telling you, I never leave a show without ever getting at least 2 bookings. You've heard that before, haven't you, Jody?
Oh, yeah.
They're lying.
They're lying.
They're lying. So when you have a show with no bookings, it happens. Don't get discouraged. I just want to tell you all that, okay? Okay, go ahead, Jody.
Yeah, like this month, I probably had, I think I had 8 shows booked, and I think I've had 3 cancellations. I love, as a little segue, Wendy talking about, where's Wendy?
Oh, I just want to see you.
Oh,
Looking
you
at
don't
you
like
in
the
the back.
back of my shirt?
Yeah.
So I also do, what Wendy does is I have a 0 point, and I think it's so important if you are in this business to take it and run with it, you need to have goals, and you need to have them in front of you, and you need to work those goals. And when you get home from every party, go back to your goals and go, how did I do? Where am I at? But one of my goals is my 0 point is 15 shows, and what I mean by that is I want to have at any one given time, I want to have 15 shows dated and with guest lists. To me, in my world, a show is not a show unless you have a guest list, okay? It's not. I don't care what anyone tells you about social media, about Facebook, and I know Mary and I are on the same page with this. You're not, the chances of that show canceling are so huge if you do not get a guest list. I'm going to tell you, the girls that I've seen fall off this business, their demise was they wanted to do it their way, and they felt that their ideas worked better than what's tried and true for 13 years, and that's guest lists. You've got to get guest lists within 3 to 4 days of them booking a show. Any more than that, they're going to lose interest, you guys. You've got to grab them while they're hot. And so, I don't know what I was talking about. So 15 shows.
Booking in tight.
So when I say 15 shows with dates and guest lists within the next month to month and a half. So I like to do probably about 8 shows a month. All right, right now I'm at 5. I'm at 5 shows. That's all I have left on my calendar, 5 shows. And so what that means for me, because my 0 point is 15, I have got to up the ante at my shows. So I'm going to offer the world to these gals, lots of incentives to get them to book a show. But when I book them, then this is where I'm getting back to the booking in tight. I come to my show, and I've got, usually what I have with me, and I'm sorry I didn't bring a visual, but picture the front of the catalog, okay? I take a snapshot of that on the computer, and then I put it on an 8x10, so there's 4 of them, okay? You got me? And then with Word, you can add a little bubble out of her mouth. Did you know that? I figured that out myself. And so I print this off. Thank you. And what I do is in the bubble, I write my next 4 available dates. And then when my gal comes to check out, first of all, let's set that aside for right now. I will have on a sheet of paper 1 snapshot. So the whole thing is the front of the catalog with a bubble. And I will have written at the top $100, and then I'll write in her bubble the next available date, because that's my target date that I want to get booked. So the first gal that comes up that's booked a show, I will offer her that first. Turn that paper around to her and say, because you're up here first, you're my first booker, I'm going to offer this to you. If you take this date, you're going to get an extra $100. And I usually have a $100 bill, like a copy of one, sitting there with that. So it's a visual. Women are very visual. And I'll say, will this work for you? And either does or doesn't, okay? And if it doesn't, I'm going to offer it to the next person. But then what I do is if that date does not work, I pull out my other one that has the 4. And I'll say, all right, in order for my hostess tonight to get booking credit, we'll need to book on one of these 4 dates. Kind of like what we were talking about earlier. And hope that one of those dates will work for her. If someone says to me, like, I have no shows right now booked in January, I take that back, I have 1. I have 1 show booked in January because I'm not going to book out that far. I've learned that if you book way out, the chances are huge they're going to cancel. And if you really want to get this business rolling, don't you want a paycheck every single week? Mondays are beautiful around our household.
They are.
Yeah.
We call them the Monday drop. We get money dropped in our account. So if you want this business to go on that cycle and to get paid every single week, then you need to be doing shows every week. If you do a show this month and then not another one until next month, I'm going to tell you girls, you're not going to be in business very long. You've got to be booking them in tight. It's the power of suggestion, okay? Don't be afraid of, it's like if you, who has a date book? Can I see like here? So it's like if you go to the doctor's office, okay, and you go in and you've got a cold and they put you on antibiotics and then the doctor says, I want to see you back in 2 weeks. Okay, so you go out to the receptionist, doctor wants to see me in 2 weeks. Does she take her date book and go, well, when would you like to come, Mrs. Sullins? Leaf through here. Does she do that? Huh. She'll say, okay, let's do 2 weeks. Doctor's available, da-da-da time. Okay? That's, if you're a business-minded woman, that's what you will do. You will tell her, because this is your life, your business, you're in control of your calendar, you tell her your next available dates. And don't be afraid of that, you guys. Again, this is your business. And I especially want to encourage those of you that are new gals, and I've seen this happen over and over again, don't, especially because you want to get bookings, and I understand that and I get that, but I've seen more new starts open up their whole date book and go, well, when can you have a party? Don't do that. It's like telling your 2-year-old to go to her closet and open up her cupboard or her closet and say, honey, what would you like to wear today? You don't do that to a toddler, right? You know, or when they're starting school at 5 years of age, you lay out 3 outfits. This is, I don't know if anybody else had to do this, but I do this with my strong-willed daughter. I'd say, here's your outfits for tomorrow. Which one would you like to wear? 3. And I've learned women are the same thing. Don't give them this many choices. Give them this many.
And they're going to respect you as a business person for that too.
Yeah. And they'll see that you run a tight ship. Okay. Okay, so that's booking in tight. So booking tight, basically. Booking
and you
tight.
talked about you're not big on Facebook, not for inviting.
No, Facebook is a great way to keep the party in front of them, promoting it, marketing it, whatever. But absolutely 100% do not do Facebook as an invite. I mean, it just won't work. If it's worked once, that's great. But I'm going to tell you as a rule of thumb for inviting, it's not going to work. Because I don't know about you guys. I get events and I open them up maybe a month after they happened. That's just not a part of my regular, when I'm on Facebook, I don't look at events. And a lot of your friends or your hostess's friends are probably the same way. Besides, it's too impersonal. Do you want to get invited to a wedding by way of Facebook? Wouldn't you be appalled, right? Even Evite. To me, it's your very first, I really try to promote, when I'm checking out with someone, I just say to them, I explain to them how I'm going to set them up in the Hostess Connection. I tell them they're going to get an email that night from our Hostess Connection or in the morning. And then I will say to her, now, do you have home addresses of the people you're going to invite, or do you have just email addresses? And then they usually kind of sit there and think, and then I kind of jump in and go, let me tell you something. I will tell you that the best shows that I have, that have the biggest turnouts, are the ones that give me snail mail addresses, honestly. And if they kind of look at me, and especially if they're like that 30 years of age or younger, they're kind of like, I don't know anybody's home addresses. And I go, well, tell you what, I don't have my phone with me, but I use Red Stamp. Can I go into that?
Yeah.
So really quickly, what I do, and this works especially with your younger, well, I call it younger, I'm 50-something, but if they're like 30s or younger, they're all about social media. So what I do is I go to Red Stamp, which is a app for iPhones. I go to Red Stamp and I take her picture. I just say, I want you to hold the catalog. So she holds the Leah's Feet catalog, she smiles, and I take her picture. And then I say to her, I don't do it right then and there. I don't put her into my Red Stamp application because it takes too long. So I'll tell her later tonight, you're going to get a text message from me, and it's going to have a Red Stamp app with your picture in it. It's basically a save the date, and it says on there, save the date, for Deb Bachman's party, okay, with the information. And I said, what you're going to do when you get this right away tonight, I want you to forward this to all your girlfriends individually that you know right on the top of your head, you know you're going to be inviting. And at that, in the message, I want you to say, can you return this message right away with your home address? Okay, so that's a way for her to quickly start to get home addresses. If she's the one that says to you, I don't know anybody's home address, all I have is Evites, okay, or email addresses. So I try to talk them out of giving me just Evites, and I'll tell her, listen, if that's all you have, we'll take that, but I'm going to tell you a lot of Evites go to spam. They go to spam. And, and then I'll say to her the whole wedding invitation thing. I'll just say, would you rather receive an invitation to a wedding, a in your mailbox or by Evite. So think about that. It's much, much more personal. So again, I'm all about trying to talk them away from Evites and doing snail mail. But if they're just absolutely adamant, cannot do anything but Evites, I'll take that over nothing. But I will not do Facebook invites or could you hand me a stack of invitations, I'll hand them out of school. I won't do it. I'll say, you know what, in order for my hostess to get booking credit, a guest list has got to be entered in. And there has to be at least 15 names in order for Leah Sophia to read that as a guest list.
There you go. And if you don't have, or if you have a Droid, what I do is I just have a Word document on my computer that says, you know, save the date. I'm having a party on this day. Text me back with your address so I can send you an invite. I take a picture of it with my phone and forward it to that hostess. So it's that simple. If you don't have an iPhone.
But if you book, like I just booked a party on Saturday for the next Saturday.
Oh, you better start texting everybody right
you're
now.
absolutely right. In that case, if you book a week
There's
out,
exceptions, always exceptions.
yeah, or
I
even
sent her her invitation via text, and she just sent it out.
yeah,
Perfect.
there's always that exception to the rule, but don't run your business on exceptions to the rule.
Exactly.
That's
Okay,
the
and I know
point.
you gotta get out of here, and actually it's
That's
almost
okay.
time for us for recognition and stuff. So here's the last thing.
Okay.
Your best advice going into December and January, where everybody talks about, oh, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. So, for getting bookings, getting guest lists back, do you offer incentives for any of that too?
Absolutely, and you need to really promote. Right now, what I say to my guests trying to get bookings is, you guys, the holidays are around the corner, and if you're looking for Christmas gifts yet, if you're still shopping, I don't know about you guys, but maybe you're done. And usually they laugh and go, oh, I haven't even started. Then I'll put out there, I'll say, do you guys know what the #1 buying item for Christmas is? And I'll put it out there. It's jewelry, it really is, it's jewelry. So I'll just say, so you guys, this is our best time. This is our best year for business because gals are coming in, they're buying jewelry. And we've got something for everybody. And I'm gonna tell you guys, we have the most amazing sale for December. I say that every month, but they don't know that, okay? And I'll say, so you know what, shop in the comfort of a home, you have your girlfriends over. And I'm all about, like right now, really playing on the girlfriend thing, because all of us are so busy. If I had a dime, you guys, for every woman over my 13 years that has told me how busy she is, I'd be filthy, filthy rich. We're all busy. Everybody is running from sun up to sundown, especially if they have kids. You hear it all, your shows, I hear it all. But I say to them, you know what, I'm gonna tell you something. My hostesses, it is so fun when I'm at a show and I'm hearing my hostess tell her guests goodbye, and so many of her girlfriends are saying, thank you so much for getting us together. It was just fun to hang out tonight. So just think about that. I'm saying this in my presentation. I'll say, so you guys, think about, you just use the jewelry show as an excuse to get your girlfriends together. You might have some friends that don't buy or don't like jewelry. That's okay. It's just a great fun night with girlfriends. Have a glass of wine. And your girlfriends, and I'm all about trying to promote during the week because I don't like to do weekend parties. I hardly ever do them, but I will promote Monday through Thursday and say, honestly, those are the best nights to have a party because it kind of has a beginning and an end. And most people are busy and they can't just spend a whole evening, at a show. But I tell them, I have a 2.5 hour guarantee. I'm in and out of your door in 2 to 2.5 hours, depending on your girlfriends. And so we're not going to drag this on all night long. It's just a fun way to bring your girlfriends in. So that gets them thinking about the whole girlfriend thing and a glass of wine. All right? So anyway, I just say, December is a great time. Your house is decorated already. Throw out some Christmas cookies and I'll entertain them. Maybe I'll even wear a beard and say, ho, ho, ho.
There you go.
So
That's scary.
you need to. So the thing is, you guys, right now though, you need to be really, really, really working on getting your December bookings lined up, because what that does is then come after the first of the year, you're going to want to have a business after the first of the year. And in January, it can be hard to book parties. It really can be, because their money is spent. Yeah, it's a J month. Our June and January are tough months. So you've got to have a good December to set you up for a really good January. Because as Mary said, typically the rule of thumb is how your January goes is how the rest of the year goes. So you want to have a good January. And you know what, January, when you're in December, okay, don't say this now, girls, don't say this now, because I can bet almost every one of you, except for maybe Wendy, needs to be booking shows in December. Am I correct? Does anybody else not need to be booking shows in December? Yeah, I'm sure you all do. So don't say what I'm going to say to you to anybody until you're in December. Right now, though, or when you're in December, how you're gonna book those January shows is we have a reverse save plan, what we call it. And it's buy one at regular, two at
Do we know
half.
for sure already?
Yes, it's the best sale Leah Sophia offers ever. I love that sale.
I just
Love
don't know
it.
what they're gonna do anymore.
I know.
From
Yes,
where-
I did hear that the other day, that they're gonna do that. Buy one at regular, get two at half. So
They have to buy 3, right?
they have to buy 3 though, because I call it the reverse save plan. Our save plan, they don't talk about it a lot, but it's basically buy 2 at regular, get 1 at half. That's basically, you guys know you can do that. You don't have to do 2 at regular and 4 at half, right? If they just want to get 1 at half, they can. Well, in the 3s, we call that our save plan. Buy 2 at regular, get 1 at half. So in January, we reverse it, but it's still 3s. Buy 1 at regular, get 2 at half, okay? And if they just want to buy 2 things, I charge them full price. They have to do 3. So anyway, my point in all this, wrapping it up, you guys have gotten, if your December is not where you want it to be and you don't have any shows left in November to be booking into December, you've got to get on the phone. Get on the phone and just say, come on, this is a great time of the year. Christmas gifts, your house is already decorated. I'll even bring some Christmas cookies. All right, even offer to do that if you need to. But you got to get on the phone and get your December set up. What? What are those? I was gonna say, that's a Jewish thing, I don't know what that is. Sugar cookies, I say sugar cookies. Is that the figure 8 things?
That's a cookie. Dreidel.
I don't know.
Yeah, they were large.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, anything else?
No! Oh, you have questions, yeah.
When you talk about how sometimes you do parties at restaurants, what restaurants do you feel work best for something like that?
I've done them at, I'm not gonna say this right because it's Macao's.
Macao's! We love
So
Macao's.
that's a really good one. I've done them there before. I have done them at, what's in their restaurant? I think it was a Panera Bread that had a little side room that we were able to do it. Does anybody else have done any other parties at a restaurant where they have a party
Do you
room?
call and ask ahead of time?
The hostess
Senoritas
did.
once.
My hostess did. I didn't. It was up to my hostess. She lived down in BFE, down in
I am shocked that she said that.
Maricopa, yeah, and she didn't want to have it there, so she called the restaurant, and they let her have the patio. Like this time of the year, it's like awesome to go out on the patio. And then she got everybody a drink ticket, and because it was before, like, you know, it was during happy hours, she got them really cheap.
Half
So
price
she-
appetizers. So
Yes, exactly. She did that and provided that for her guests, so it was really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, just pick up a couple appetizers. It's really nice.
Okay, I have a question. You don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
Oh, I answer anything. I'm open
But
to
this
that.
is what motivates me. I am wondering what your largest paycheck has been.
Oh, largest paycheck, I'm
For
gonna
one
say, for 1 week,
For 1 week.
was probably about 30,000.
In 1 week?
Our
In
biggest
1
month,
week.
our biggest month was
Was
56,000.
50-something, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's. And that's what you call residual income. That's the beautiful thing. If you get into this and you see this as a business, you need to share this opportunity because that's where the income comes from. I mean, do the math. If I do 8 shows in a month and we make 40%, if my show average is, let's say, 600, all right, what's that, 4,800, and I make 40% of that, you know, maybe 2,000 bucks. The rest of that income, obviously, is from my team, right? So that's why it's so important. You just gotta, you know, and those of you, if you've been an advisor for a while or been a unit, you've gotta keep on keeping on. It works. I am nobody special. Mary is nobody, I mean, she is, but, you know.
Oh my God, Jody, you're special.
And all of these leaders here, you know, we're nothing that you guys
We're no
can't be.
different.
If you set your mind and your goal to something, you know, every one of you in this room, every one of you could be where we're at. You know, every one of you could start off winning a trip to Las Vegas. That trip, you guys, is so easy to earn. Every one of you in this room should be able to earn that. But you've got to have a goal. You need to have that trip tracker, you know, on your bulletin board or in wherever you see every day. And every time you come home from a show, you deduct that. You know, how many points did I get tonight? Every recruit you get is 5,000 points. So 5, 10, 15,000 points right there. You know, as long as they order their kit, and submit a starter show within 28 days. So you guys can do it. Again, nothing special. I was just an at-home mom, you know, love being a mom, but this came into this and it clicked. You guys, and I'm gonna tell you, Leah Sophia is an amazing, amazing company. Every year that I'm with them, every year. I mean, I am so committed to Leah Sophia because I see the family. We know the family. We've hugged them. You know, we've talked with them on the phone. They are involved. Kayam family is involved in this company. And, you know, Dad Kayam started this years ago, and Tori's not going to let this company go. And it's named after his daughters, you know. They are so involved and care so much for this company. So just know you are with an amazing, amazing company. But don't give up. Do not give up.
Yeah! Where's the $30,000?
So anyway, with that, I could talk all day long. It's an amazing company. I love Leah Sophia, and we've been able to do amazing, amazing things in our family. Amazing things, and for our children.
They really exceeded my expectations, so I have to say the same. Question?
For recruiting then, do you do anything specific at your parties or is it just sharing?
I talk. What I do for recruiting is I talk about it. You have to talk about this at your parties because very, very few gals are going to come running up to you saying, I want to do this. They just don't. You have to talk about this, and you have to put that carrot out there and just say, you guys, I would love to chat with you, you know, and I make sure they know I'm not high pressure, and you don't want to be that stalker person. You don't. You don't have to. We have a great product with a great company. $99 this month, you guys. You should be talking about this at every single show. I always show the flyer, and I cover, like, here we go, perfect, Jeff. So I bring this out of my my briefcase, and I have something under my hand here. I'm going to cover it. Just pretend there's something under it. I'll say, you guys, here is our start kit, and I have to tell you, and then I kind of hold it up so they don't see what I have on the front, but this is everything that comes in our kit. And, you know, usually somebody has on the panorama necklace, you know, or I've played with it that night. I'll say, you guys, that necklace alone is, what, $86? And that's included in the kit here. This necklace right here is like a $98 necklace. So you guys, you're getting over $1,000 worth of jewelry. Now I have to ask you guys, what would you think a good value for this would be? And I put it out there and asked my group, what do you think? $1,000 worth of jewelry, what do you think? $500, yeah, half price, that'd be awesome. Anybody else? $250, $250, that's good. And I'll say, well, guess what? Normally we sell this for $149, but let me tell you guys, this month, and then they can see I have a big fluorescent sticker here that says $99. I'll say this month it is $90. You guys, where can you start your own business for $99? You know, all you need to do is to get started. I'm going to help you and encourage you to line up parties, but basically to get off to a start, you need to buy your kit for $99. We're going to submit a start show, so you do have to have a show. Then I'm going to help you get shows lined up. I'm going to give you suggestions and blah, blah, blah. So you guys should be utilizing this right now before it ends, because it will end, okay? But basically, I talk about it, and just like my husband said, every person that comes and checks out, I ask them, you know, did you open your purse? Are you interested in having a party? My next question is, could you see yourself doing this? Could you use some extra money this month? And then I always have my flyers sitting there and just say, do you want to take one of these home? Ask every person, because they might be a little bit more willing to talk with you one-on-one than in a group setting. For whatever reason, there's the whole intimidation thing, or I don't want people to know I need money, or whatever. But I also do the questions during my presentation. I'll just say, I make my presentation, you guys, very quick. I really do, because people are busy. They're looking at their watch after probably about 45 minutes. Your presentation, be honest with you, it shouldn't be much longer than a half an hour. You need to get the information, you know, your sale, the guarantee, the hostess benefits, talk about the jewelry really quickly, a few pieces, show all the ways you can do the panorama, and then I say, okay, you guys, now I went through that really quickly. You might have some questions that I didn't answer. For every question you ask me, I'm going to give you a ticket. Now you ask me anything about my job, anything about Leah Sophia, or the jewelry, and I really try to steer them to ask me questions about my job. Sometimes I'll say 2 tickets if you ask me a question about my job. So definitely talk about it. Try to, you know, even though Wendy was like, oh, can I ask you a personal question? I'll say that at my shows. I'll say, you guys, you can even ask me personal questions. I don't care, because I want them to ask me about the income. But what I say is, I don't say, you know, what my income is, because they're like, well, yeah, you've been in this for 12 years. I'll just say, you guys, the average advisor makes about $150 to $200 a party. So do the math, you guys. You do 5 shows in a month, you can potentially make a good $500 to $1,000, and that's realistic. Very realistic, okay? So anyway, you have to talk about it at your shows and then follow up and ask.
Just real quick.
when you talk about the special and the hostess benefits, do you play a game to do that, or do you just verbally speak
Nope,
to it?
verbally speak it. Verbally speak it, but I say it, I bet, probably 5 to 7 times during my presentation, because you know what they say, and I heard this the other day, somebody completely not even in direct sales, because I've heard it a long time in direct sales, that you have to say something 7 times for them to get it. Don't just say the sale once, you guys, because they're not going to get it. Don't just talk about the opportunity once. 7 times you have to say something. So I drop it throughout the show presentation, and then at the end I wrap it up when I'm telling them how to fill out their wish list, and I'll say, hey guys, you're going to circle the items you want to buy tonight, circle or put a check mark. Now who can tell me what the sale is? Let's see if you guys were listening to me. And I put it back on them and have them repeat it to me one more time. Okay?
What if you have a hostess that's reluctant to close her show because she keeps thinking she's going to get more orders?
Close it without her.
Yeah, I absolutely give them a date. I send them an email. You know, we didn't talk much about hostess coaching. I'm a firm believer in hostess coaching. You guys, your hostess should almost be your best friend by the time you get to her show. You should be very personal with your hostess.
Not stalking.
Not stalking, but just staying in contact with her. And one of the things I do is 2 weeks before the day of the show, I send out her email or her invitations. I also send her an email, and I direct her that we're going to close her show that night. I will say in the letter, we're going to shoot to try to close your show that night, so any outside orders, you want to get them before the show, blah, 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 blah. Now, I will tell you that 90% of my shows, I don't close that night, but I have directed her and steered her that way. So I'll almost tell her at the night of her show, you know what, I know it's overwhelming, and you know, here's everything you get. So how about if we close tomorrow or Wednesday? So I usually give her a day or two, but I'll leave with a day, and we will close that day. I'll call her and just say, you know, hey Betsy, we're going to close today, and if she puts me off and puts me off, I will leave her a final. Usually my rule of thumb is 3 strikes and you're out. I've only had to do this twice in all my years. I've left a message with, you know, Wendy, I have called you 3 times. I haven't heard from you. We talked about closing your show, you know, last Thursday, and here it is. It's the weekend's gone. I have to close your show. Unfortunately, if I don't hear from you by tonight at 9 p.m., I do have to close the show, and unfortunately, you're going to lose your benefits. And I've had to do it twice. You threaten them with that. Don't keep playing their game. This is a business, you guys, especially if you're at month end. But you need to leave the show and you tell her when you're going to close. And if you're at month end, you tell her. See, personally, I don't close the show past Saturday on month end. I'm not waiting for Sunday, and I'm not waiting until Monday morning. You don't want to do that in case of credit card issues, or she goes to work and you still haven't gotten her list. But I close shows on Saturday, and I'll tell her the sale at month end. I will say our sale ends this Saturday night, and if we don't close your show, unfortunately, all your guests are going to lose the sale, and the show is null and void. I say that. All right, with that, I gotta go, you guys. We gotta pick somebody else. So, oh, stop!